tonight's meeting of the Fort Wayne Community School Board of Trustees. We will begin our meeting as we do each time with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Steve, would you like to begin the roll call?
Sure. Good evening, Steve Corona from the 5th District.
Tom Smith, 3rd District.
Maria Norman, Member at Large.
Ann Duff, Member at Large.
Jordan Lebemoff, the 4th District.
And Glenna Yale is not with us tonight. She may make it. She may run in at the last minute. And I'm Julie Hollingsworth, elected from District 1. And to my far left is Barb Trout, Clerk of the Board. Good evening. And standing in for Dr. Robinson, who's in Washington, D.C., is Charles Kamek.
Good evening.
Chief Operations Officer, correct?
Correct.
Okay, very good. So we have no awards and recognitions, so we move directly to the consent agenda, which contains minutes from last meeting a month ago, June 26th, vouchers and payroll for the periods ending July 10th and 24th, and payroll June 9th and June 23rd, and then the personnel report. Mr. Kamek, was there anything in the personnel report that we wanted to highlight?
Yes. We have a couple of new principals, one of which I think is in the audience this evening.
And that would be,
Mr. Kirby, Nicholas Kirby. Won't you stand up, Mr. Kirby?
yeah, I'm not looking at that.
He's going to be the new principal at Arlington Elementary. He was assistant principal at Brentwood since 2014. Prior to joining FWCS 3 years ago, Mr. Kirby lived in North Carolina and worked in Orange County schools. He taught kindergarten for 3 years at Hillsborough Elementary School and completed the administrative internship program at Graverly Hill Middle School. At Arlington, he replaces Dave Weber, who retired at the end of the 2016-17 school year.
Welcome.
Very good. Welcome and good luck. Okay, do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Second.
Move second.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Tom. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. That brings us to new business. And the first item on our agenda is the 2017-18 Adult Education Competitive Grant. It's recommended that the board approve the application for and acceptance of the Adult Education Competitive Grant for 17-18 in the amount of $1,005,237 and some change from the Indiana Department of Workforce Development, Division of Adult Career and Technical Education. This grant is state funding allocated annually to 12 regions of the state of Indiana. Funds from this grant will allow the continuation of a range of services for the Fort Wayne Community School District, Allen County Continuing Education Program. The funds in this year's grant are designated for personnel, professional development, instructional materials, supplies, equipment, purchase services, and integrated education and training. About $888,000 of that will be used for adult education personnel, professional development, instructional materials, supplies, equipment, and the remainder will be used in developing integrated education and training for all continuing education, adult education students, including education, workforce preparation activities, and workforce training. This competitive grant is an open grant for the 17-18 year and is continued for 3 additional years as a closed renewable grant in 18-19, 19-20, and 2021. The adult education grant supports services for students 16 years of age and older. The grant is written by the manager of the Continuing Education Department, Patrick Bowles, along with the Region 3 Adult Education Consortium and supports Fort Wayne Community School District Goal 1, achieve and maintain academic excellence, and Goal 2, engage parents and the community. And any questions can be answered by Mr. Bowles. Do we have a,
I move for
Motion?
approval.
Second.
thanks, Tom, thanks, Ann. Anyone have any questions? Is this pretty much in line with what we usually get?
Yes. it's,
Refresh my memory.
Yeah, between,
I know you want to go to that microphone.
yes, between the two grants, both this one and the ELL grant that's coming up as well, it's a total an increase of about a little shy of $68,000. And that's divided on this particular adult ed grant is about $42,000 additional dollars as opposed to last year. And then the ELL one would be the addition of a little over $25,000.
And so we're in District 12, so this grant allows us to serve
Yeah,
a
basically.
portion of Northeast Indiana?
Yes, we are in, of the 12 regions, we're in Region 3, comprised of 11 counties in northeastern Indiana, and we would serve all of Allen County.
Okay.
Okay.
How many students do you see go through your programs?
Through all of our continued ed programs, we are at, through all the programs, about 2,100 students. HSE students, formerly GED, we're right a little shy of 1,000, and then we have the Expectant Mother, Expectant Fathers program, the high school diploma track, and English language learners, and Neighborhood Connection.
And by the way, Maria, the best event of the year to go to, in my opinion, is the continuing education graduation ceremony, which is in...
It's always held the first Wednesday in March.
March, okay, that's right. So,
Got it.
yeah, when you hear
Noted.
about it, it really is, some just neat stories of adults who have persevered and gotten their high school equivalency. It's really cool. Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, next we have the Adult Education Integrated English Literacy and Civics Education Competitive Grant. I need to come up with longer names. It's recommended that the board approve the application for and acceptance of the Adult Education Integrated English Literacy and Civics Education Competitive Grant for 17-18 in the amount of $75,000 from the Office of the State of Indiana Department of Workforce Development. The purpose of this grant is to provide adult English language instruction integrating all 4 civics concepts: naturalization, civic engagement, United States history, and government. Funds from this grant will allow for the continuation of a range of services for the continuing education program for ELL adult education programming. These funds are designated for personnel, professional development, purchase services, and integrated education and training. This competitive grant is in the first of a 4-year cycle, with the remaining 3 years being closed grant continuation years. And Mr. Bowles is again here to answer any questions. Do we have a motion second?
So moves.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Steve. Any questions?
Couple of questions, if I could, for Mr. Bowles. Pat, how many students do we serve a year, and are they largely students preparing for citizenship?
Great question. Basically, we have 2 separate English language learner programs in continuing ed. One is the ELL high school program. We serve approximately 50 students in that program. Those students generally range in the age of 17 years of age on up. And in our other program, which is the English language learner program itself for adults, we serve between 300 and 400 students. They comprise 59 different countries in 5 of the 7 continents. And basically, it includes a number of different things in dealing with our levels. Basically, it would include citizenship, and there's a portion, obviously, we work with very closely in regards to citizenship and civics. But also, we do a number of things, including the English literacy piece. Now, effective July 1st of 2017, we have what is called the IETs, the Integrated Education and Training. Those are required of all ELL students that are educated under the WIOA legislation. And basically, it includes a workforce preparation and certification program. The state of Indiana's goal for this next year is that 20% of all those students in English language learner classrooms, regardless of which classrooms that they are in, receive some sort of certification training. And currently, in our program, we offer 14 different certifications. So our ELL students would be involved in such things as MIG and TIG welding, customer service, different logistics and programs.
So those certification programs are delivered by FWCS staff or third-party organizations?
All the above. Basically, it's with our Fort Wayne Community School staff, and then depending on the certifications and so forth, we do some contracting outside to provide certifications that we don't have the background.
Is the classroom instruction delivered exclusively at Anthus or at multiple sites around the city?
It is in multiple sites, but currently, the way it has been is been at Anthus, but we are kind of looking at the expansion of that piece and looking at the whole integrated piece. In years past, it was done, students had up until 1 full year after they received their classroom education to be able to take advantage of the certification programs. As of July 1st this year, and again under WIOA guidelines, they have integrated both contextually and continually in regards to the programming, which basically means that in their programming, there's curriculum and integrated work preparation, career awareness ideas and so forth that are integrated into the program. So in our ELL classes, as an example, in English literacy, we'll be also working with such math concepts like measurement and so forth. So as they are involved in certification programs, they become familiar with that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thanks, Pat. Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, now we have the Library Services and Technology Act grant. This is for Southside High School. It's recommended that the board approve the application for and acceptance of a Library Services and Technology Act grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services in the amount of $10,000. Southside High School is requesting this grant to obtain funding to increase literacy and enhance the digital library at Southside High School. This competitive grant was written by media teacher Catherine Lucas and supports our Goal 1, achieve and maintain academic excellence. And our colleague, Southside Principal Carlton Mabel is here. Is Catherine here? Okay. To answer any questions. We have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Tom. Anyone have any questions?
I'm just curious what a digital library at a high school library looks like.
Good afternoon. One of the things that we're looking to enhance is our audio books at the different reading levels, because we have so many kids at different reading levels, especially our ELL students, being able to hear the proper reading. So that's part of our digital library.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Does the digital library also include books that students can check out that aren't audio books, like that they can check out on tablets or devices?
We're not that far advanced yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks. All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we have a couple of bids for the, for items for the coming school year in our cafeterias. First is milk. It's recommended that an award be made to the responsive bidder, meeting specifications, quality standards, and complete dairy service. The bid is awarded based on the 4 categories of half-pint containers, which include 1% white, fat-free chocolate, fat-free strawberry, and fat-free vanilla. And the company chosen is Prairie Farms Dairy in Fort Wayne for a total of $1,036,278,000. And the information is before you there, which allows us to serve our schools as well as 12 private schools in the area. And there were 2 bidders, and Prairie Farms was the only, looks like, complete bid. Interesting, the price per half pint in this bid is approximately a 27.3% decrease when compared to current contract pricing. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hooray. So do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Jordan. Any questions for our Director of Nutrition Services?
I have a couple
Candace
questions.
Hager? Yeah, Candace?
Candace, who's our current provider of milk?
Our current provider is Prairie Farms.
And what explains I like the decrease, but what explains the decrease?
Good old, the way we do business.
Hey, good answer.
Competition. It really boils down to 2 things. Competition. Dean's Milk really wanted our business this year, so they really came on board strong. This is the first year in many years that Prairie Farms has had any competition. Secondly, we've been on the milk escalator formula for several years, and we chose the solid bid price this time because competition sharpened their pencils really well.
Okay.
I have a question with regard to the, and forgive me if I'm missing it, but do you have a difference with regard to the sugar content of these flavored milks versus just a regular white milk?
There's about 4-gram difference
Okay.
of sugar. And we feel that it's important to continue with flavored milk. 4 grams of sugar is worth the price to get the milk in the child.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, all those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now the next bid we have is for beverages. It's recommended that an award be made to the lowest responsive bidders, meeting specifications and quality standards. So there's a total of 5 companies. Commercial Food Service from Indianapolis, Gordon Food Service in Michigan, Prairie Farms, Fort Wayne, 7-Up Bottling Group, Fort Wayne, and Stan's Food Service, South Bend, for a total of $592,781. And this is a 1-year contract with an option to extend to supply bottled water and juice. Good nutrition is Nutrition Services' primary goal. Due to federal requirements, more stringent specifications are now being used for beverages to be served in schools. Beverages containing nutrients are preferred in making award determinations. The nutrients considered are vitamin A, B6, B12, C, calcium, niacin, thiamine, riboflavin, and iron. So out of 6 bidders, these 5 were chosen. Overall, the prices of the recommended bidders reflect a 2% decrease of like items when compared to the last bid that opened in May of last year. And again, Candace is available to answer any questions. Do we have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Maria. Any questions about this one? Okay. All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that brings us to copy paper. It's recommended that an award be made to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder, Midland Paper in Wheeling, Illinois, for $212,346.80. This is a bid for supply of copy paper to be stocked in the warehouse. The largest portion of the bid is for 9,240 cases of 8.5 by 11 white paper. All schools and central administrative units are served by this supply. A comparison of prices by item is on file in the purchasing department and can be reviewed upon request. The prices of the recommended bidder reflect a 7% decrease when compared to the last bid that opened in May of 2016. Invitations to bid were sent to 18 prospective bidders, with 12 responding. Quill Corporation, Sam's Club, Staples, and Stationers Express responded with a no bid. Office Depot, Premier, and School Specialty did not submit a complete bid. There were 5 complete bids, as you can see on your sheet, and all pretty close together. Midland Paper had the lowest bid. Questions can be addressed by Director of Purchasing, Rod Rathke. Do we have a motion and a second?
Move approval.
Second.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Maria. Any questions? Okay. All those in favor of approval signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, this brings us to a bid recommendation for library books. It's recommended that the board award a 2-year contract to the most responsible and responsive bidder meeting specifications and offering the highest discount off publisher list prices. And that's from Follett in McHenry, Illinois. And the discount off publisher, so what does this mean? That we get 55% off?
The purchaser list price,
Excuse me?
off the publisher's list price.
Okay, and what's the 40 then? Oh, so 40 to 55, that's the range. I gotcha. That's the range of discounts. It's a bid for reference books and other titles that would be added in the school media centers. Invitations to bid were mailed to 12 prospective bidders with 5 responding. You can see the bidders listed, all out of state, and Follett was had the best discount. These items are budgeted in the general fund. It's estimated that approximately $165,000 per year will be spent on library books purchased under this bid. And our Chief Academic Officer, Tracy Williams, can answer any questions. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Ann.
Second.
Thanks, Jordan. Any questions?
Is there going to be a specific quantity or percentage of books that are going to be purchased sort of electronically, or are these going to all be paper books?
Based on my understanding, I think this is for the paper books, the actual books.
Do we still have, I'm curious how, just to follow up on Maria's question, you know, how much of our reference materials are digital? I mean, we still have sets of encyclopedias? We probably do because they've been around forever, but.
Encyclopedias, I'm not 100% sure. I do know that we are increasing our use of electronic resources because that's just kind of the way things are going. I do know that we are increasing the number of books, just library books in general, that we provide and make available to kids because we know that many kids still like the fact that they still can hold and have a book to read instead of the
So do I.
electronic.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of acceptance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have nothing else on the agenda. Comments? No, Steve?
No, thank you.
Are there any special meetings or anything coming up in the next week or two? I sometimes lose track of what, okay.
Tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow morning at the Face Center, right, we have a speaker from,
7:30 to 9:30.
well, I thought it was 8 to 9:30.
7:30 to 8 is breakfast.
Okay, 8 to
9:30 is the
9:30,
speaker.
if you're interested. And I forget,
What was the topic again?
Well, that one I don't know.
Okay.
take a look at
I
your,
think Faye,
Her name is Nicole Beecham. She's a researcher out of the University of Chicago, and she will be talking about foundations for youth success.
what I
And
thought.
it has a lot to do with development of students in developmental stages and how we can help support them in all those different stages.
and I
That
think,
begins at 8 o'clock, you said?
yeah, 8
Yes,
o'clock.
breakfast starts at 7:30 and the session begins at 8.
Yeah, at the Face Center.
Okay.
And I think that's the only thing this week. I think, didn't we each get a,
Yeah, it's
kind of a
on-
paperback book?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a
Right.
thin one like that,
Yeah.
talking about
Is that right?
success
And-
for, young adults. So you might want
I
to,
think that's right, Ann.
Yes.
it's on my
the-
agenda to leaf through tonight.
The dates on, one of the things had 2 PDFs attached to it. One was a letter. The dates for us to attend is the second page of that letter, because you might not have noticed it since it was on the second
Probably
page of the
did.
PDF, because you saw the letter. So
Okay.
take a look, second look at that email. Because they are different from what I put in the minutes, I believe, so.
That's, okay. That's where I saw it.
Okay?
Okay.
I don't have any comments.
Okay. Ann?
I'm sure most of you have heard about the U.S. Department of Education not counting the general diploma in the graduation rate, not allowing that general diploma. And as you know, 12% of the students in Indiana do receive the general diploma, which we will still, I assume, can still offer that diploma, it just won't count in the graduation rate, which will bring down most schools' graduation rates. And as a guidance counselor, when we would bring kids to the high school, of course, we're going to look at the academic honors and the core 40 and put them all in that direction. But as things happen or kids have special needs, that type of thing, sometimes it's a struggle just to get them to graduate, period. And that general diploma is sometimes a lifesaver for many of those students. So it's good that we'll still offer it, but you will see our graduation rates drop. But the good news that I noticed is that obviously Fortin Community Schools has really stepped it up since I have been a guidance counselor, which is almost 20 years ago. We just seem to offer so many more support services. Even though our curriculum, I think, has become more rigorous, with the services that we offer now and the programs we offer, we've really stepped it up since I was a guidance counselor. And what Dr. Robinson shared with us the other day was that, the state, 12% of students receive the general diploma, but Fortin Community Schools, only 3% of our students receive the general diploma. So I was just shocked by that number. I did not realize we were doing so well. And that is better than any of the other public schools in this county. So by a lot. So that was, I was very impressed by that the other day. And I actually had to do math to figure that all out, Julie. And I asked my husband, did I do this right? This is what I did. So, yeah, I
Teachable moment.
I didn't round up or down, but it could be 3 point something, but still 3 point something is really, really good. Also, I just wanted to comment or thank you again for I don't know what it's called, pre-registration digital version. When you have multiple students to take through registration and you have to handwrite multiple pieces of paper, it's really tedious. So this is the second year this has been offered, the online registration. So thank you. It makes registration such a breeze. Just go in, take your 2 pieces of proof of residency, and then get your picture taken basically, and you're done. So thank you. It's really, really helped.
Awesome.
No comment.
Jordan? Oh. Welcome. Glenna?
Thank you, thank
Thanks for
you.
joining us. Do you have anything you want to add?
It's good to be back. I understand most of the business has been conducted, so I was hoping better late than never, but
Absolutely.
again, looking forward to another good year.
Okay. Charles, was there anything you wanted to highlight?
We're looking forward to the events tomorrow, and then we have QIT next week, and school starts August 15th. So we have a big event planned on August the 11th, which I believe all of you will be attending.
Right.
So Dr. Robinson is looking forward to getting a real solid start to the school year.
Great. Yeah, we have our next meeting, what, on the 14th, and then the next day, boom, school starts. Going to be here. I don't think there's anybody from the facilities department here, but I drive under that bridge on North Clinton probably 3 or 4 times a week, and wow, does that look good.
Yeah.
It really does. I really like that darker gray that they use to, and boy, I don't know what, I mean, I haven't done an up-close inspection of it, but it sure looks good when I drive under it. And that company it was pretty impressive how they enclosed the whole thing with plastic while they were sandblasting it. And
Oh, the Holland
looks
Bridge?
nice. Yeah, the Holland Elementary
have
School
to
Bridge,
check
right,
that out.
right. Yeah, it really looks nice. And along, the one thing that we can be guaranteed of, I guess, in education is that things are going to change. And not only is the grad rate changing, but evidently our state board of education, now, they just spent at least a year coming up with a new school grading system, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, now they're talking about changing it. And they had decided to measure schools 50% growth and 50% proficiency, am I right?
I believe so.
Yeah, well, now they've decided that proficiency is more important. So, who knows? The one thing you can be sure of is that this year's grade is not really connected to last year's grade. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. The other thing that will be interesting to see is, and I don't know if, did you read our state's new ESSA plan?
No.
And did anybody here? I didn't really take a look at it too much, but that is due to the federal government in September. Of course, the interesting thing that's happened is, there was a lot of complaining about federal overreach, and now we have people still complaining about federal overreach because some of the states are not happy with the feedback they've gotten. So that hasn't changed. So hopefully this fall, we will have, we've kind of talked about it, but once we kind of know what our plan is, we'll probably be having a work session about ESSA and what that means for the future. And I know, Steve and Glenna, you went to that conference and got a little bit more information about it. So once our plan is solidified, then maybe we'll probably do that this fall.
Well, at the time we were in DC, it was still so very new that
Right.
the rules hadn't really been worked out. And then we had an administration change, and of course their viewpoint is totally different than the former one. So nothing is still worked out completely, but we do
Right.
know that if you take federal money, then you have to meet federal requirements. So it's a misnomer to think that they really turned back a whole lot of local control back to the school boards and the elected officials, and
We'll
the
see.
state just administers what the federal requirements are to make sure we comply.
I saw today that Michigan is, their plan is they are not going to grade schools. They are not going to rank schools or any of that. They're just going to have a dashboard and put the dashboard out there for each school, and which is an option under the new federal law. It's not an option for us, I don't believe, because in Indiana, school grades, I believe, are enshrined in state law, aren't they?
Yeah, I believe
So that would have to come from our legislature, but that's kind of interesting. Okay, well, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. The microphone is open if there's anyone who wishes to grab it.